The Knicks are back. And there's a lot of people you can thank in regards to that. Jalen Brunson's somebody you can look at. Julius Randle's another person. Tom Thibodeau, James Dolan. Maybe a couple of people go down the list for you in terms of people you can praise. But for me, there's one person who I give this praise to for making sure the Knicks are back and relevant again. And it's a guy I've criticized openly. Leon Rose. We're going to break down today why Leon Rose has made the Knicks attractive again and what level the Knicks are attractive at. Are they attractive enough to bring in a superstar, an all-star, or a star-level player? All of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now and make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are attractive once again, and that's in large part due to Leon Rose and the moves that he's made. This Knicks team, under his leadership, has gotten better and better after each and every season. Now, for me, I didn't like his patient approach. I didn't think it was going to work. And clearly, after the last few seasons where he did nothing and the Knicks were just making very small upgrades, other than Jalen Brunson, who was a home run. Nobody expected him to be that good, but thankfully he was. After all of that happened, we didn't know where the New York Knicks were headed or what direction they were going to go into. And now, after Leon Rose in this season with the front office, he has absolutely made it clear where the Knicks are headed. They have all of their first-round picks. They have all of those protected first-round picks. The roster has been upgraded with OG Anunoby, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Alec Burks, and they have set themselves up now to make a major play for a superstar in the offseason. And this is all thanks to the moves done by our president in Leon Rose. And according to the New York Post, they also agree that Leon Rose was a major factor in the New York Knicks becoming a better team this season. Rose made the Knicks a bolder threat this season when healthy, without sacrificing the possibility of a big swing next summer. He makes this deal without surrendering any of his stockpile of first-round picks and acquired 2 expiring contracts in a bargain. The Knicks now have a 10-man rotation, if they choose to go that deep, that is better than any they've had in years, when all of those players are available, of course. But that's also something that Rose tried to solve. The Post continues by stating, Leon Rose and the moves that he's made at the trade deadline will help the Knicks not only come spring, when presumably all their missing parts return, it will also help them right now, at a time when they are still weeks away from getting Julius Randle back, and of course, when they're a couple of weeks away from getting OG Anunoby back. Even the New York Post recognizes Leon Rose's impact, his leadership, and what he's meant for this New York Knicks team, especially this season. There's something to say about Leon Rose and making the moves you need to make. But how about making the moves you're not supposed to make? I'm sure there were a lot of deals on the table. Paul George's particular trade, when I believe he was supposed to be a New York Knick, that trade was on the table. He asked for a contract extension, and the Knicks walked away. It's things like that that separate Leon Rose from other front office people that we had in the past. Because other people in the past would have done that deal for Paul George. But Leon Rose, he's different. He was only going to do that deal if it made sense for the Knicks and for them moving forward. And when he asked for that contract extension, Rose bowed out because he knew it did not make sense for the Knicks long term. You have to be extremely confident in your approach, your vision, and the moves you can make in the future to do what Leon Rose did in that moment. But he's been doing that at each and every stage of his presidency with the New York Knicks, even going back to Donovan Mitchell. A lot of us, including myself, wanted him to trade for Donovan Mitchell. I wanted Donovan to be a New York Knick. And you know what? I might get my wish sooner rather than later, because if Cleveland flames out during the postseason this year, then you know what? Maybe that puts Donovan Mitchell in play again. And if that happens, potentially Leon Rose would go after him and try to get him on this Knicks team. So maybe I get Donovan Mitchell in that fairy tale, that story that I've wanted all along. Maybe I get it in a few months from now. But as of right now, I'm perfectly fine and content waiting and watching what this Knicks team, this current roster can do. Because I've said it in a lot of videos and I'll say it again. When healthy, fully stacked, this Knicks team is deep, dangerous, and a legit threat for the Eastern Conference Finals. We might be a legit threat for the NBA Finals It all depends on the New York Knicks, how they gel together when fully healthy, and how they respond when everybody gets back. How Julius looks when he gets back. Is he going to be fully healthy? How is he going to play? Is he going to be his normal style of play, or is he going to settle for more jump shots? It's going to be very interesting to see how he plays when he returns. Same thing for OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, and other key players the New York Knicks are set to get back. This is something the New York Knicks are going to have to monitor and watch as the season progresses, because we're going to have to find the right lineup with the right amount of minutes for each and every person to play, so that way they're still effective, impactful, and when they're in the game, they're playing to the best of their abilities. We have to make sure we balance that well, because I think if we can do that, this Knicks team will surprise a lot more people than we're doing right now. We look good right now. In my opinion, there's another level for this Knicks team to reach, and I think we can get there, especially under Leon Rose, who is making the right moves at the right times. But here's the big question. Are the Knicks attractive again? Let me answer that question very quickly. Yes, the Knicks are attractive again. But how attractive? Are we now so attractive, so good of a team that we can pull MVP caliber players to the roster? Or maybe we're so good we can pull all-stars or just stars. How good is this Knicks team? In my opinion, it's all based off of what you do this year, how good you look thus far, and how good the current stars on your roster are. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle have looked phenomenal this year. Both of them all-stars this year. You want that if you're trying to sell this team to other all-stars or superstars around the league. So check box right there. Are the Knicks one of the best teams in the league right now? Yes, they are. Check that box off. Are the Knicks a few games back from being a top team in the Eastern Conference? Yes, they are. They're a few games behind Cleveland from taking that second spot in the East. I would say that makes them a great team this year. So that's another check. Do they have consistency? Under Jalen Brunson, I would argue they do. And if Jalen leads them to a deep playoff run this year, then I think the Knicks will be attractive enough to land a MVP level star to this roster. Definitely an all-star to this roster as well, too. And it all really depends on their postseason run and how far they go. If they are a second-round exit again, I still think if they're able to do so in commanding, dominant fashion, the games are close, and it's entertaining and good competitive basketball, I still think they can sell this team to an all-star or superstar level player to want to come play for this roster. The Knicks are definitely going to be watching the NBA, looking around the league, seeing how many players are disgruntled with their team, why they're disgruntled, and if they'd want to come play for the Knicks and stay here long-term. Long-term is going to be the key. Leon Rose will do nothing for a rental. He wants to make sure that anything he gets, he can use in some type of deal to make the Knicks better in the future. And I think he's set himself up perfectly and set this Knicks team up perfectly to do just that, to add the right piece, the necessary piece that we need to make this team an NBA Finals team consistently year after year after year, because that's what we're talking about. That's the level of player the Knicks need to get in order to be in that conversation each and every year. And they're right at the cusp of it. They have the right roster, the right stars, and the right setup, the right assets in order to go ahead and get that player. That's why I feel the New York Knicks are currently attractive enough to get a superstar level player on this roster. Leon Rose has built this team well. This team is in position to get the player that they need. They have all the assets available. And that's why other stars, other all-stars, other superstars around the league are looking at the Knicks. They have to be, because they're not just looking at the Knicks and saying, I love to play for them, but there's no real reason to talk about it because they can't trade for me. That conversation doesn't exist anymore. The Knicks are good enough now. They have enough assets now that any star that wants to join the Knicks, if the Knicks want them on their team, they can trade for them because they have everything in stack, in order, in hand to make that move. And that's something we haven't been able to say or something we haven't even seen. Ever? In my lifetime, surely I've never seen this. So Leon Rose has given me that, and I could not be more thankful. I've went from one of his biggest critics to one of his biggest supporters because this season, he's turned me around. I think he's turned a lot of other Knicks fans around, and he's won favor in the organization and around the league. If he doesn't receive more executive of the year award votes this year, it's going to be some type of crime against him and the New York Knicks because you're going to be robbing him and you're not looking at his moves if you're going to be doing that. You have to look at the moves he's making and not the organization or how you feel about the organization or anything like that. Let's take into stock what we have on this roster now, the assets that we have available, the position that we're in, how long it took us to get here, and who helped us get here. You can look around and give praise to a lot of people. Go ahead. I'm not going to fault you for that. But for me, I'm going to look at the president, the Don, Leon Rose, who has changed this Knicks team seemingly overnight from a fringe contender to a legit contender with who we have right now. And we still have moves to make. This Knicks team is attractive, and each and every day we become more attractive. At the end of the year, some stars are going to think to themselves, you know what? Look at what New York is doing. Look at what they're building. I know they couldn't get it done this year, but they're missing a piece. And I think I'm the piece that they're missing. I'm disgruntled where I'm at. I want to go over there. I'm going to make sure that happens. That's going to probably be a conversation many stars around the league are going to have with themselves regarding the Knicks and wanting to join this team, because this Knicks team looks like one of the best teams in basketball. How could you not want to join a team like that? And when other players around the league, other superstars around the league talk about this roster, talk about Jalen Brunson specifically, they talk about him with such high praise that you can only wonder, wouldn't they like to also play alongside him? Because in my opinion, they would. And it's all thanks at the end of the day to our president, Leon Rose. Appreciate you, Leon. I'm not going to say anything else about you. All I'm going to do is watch what you do and see how you handle this Knicks team for the rest of the season, for the offseason, and for the rest of the years to come. Because let me assure you, if your job was on the line this year, you hit so many home runs that there is no way you're going anywhere. But what about you guys? What do you think about Leon Rose helping this Knicks team become relevant again? And do you agree with me? Do you think this Knicks team is attractive enough right now to attract a superstar level player? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans. Peace.